You have a big election coming up, and I'm a little perplexed as an American. You've entered into this peace deal with the President of the United States. You've negotiated this peace deal. And this peace deal benefits Israel quite considerably, and the Palestinians too, in their own way. But in terms of Israel, it expands your boundaries legally, increases your security. But this is what I'm perplexed about. You're running against an individual, this blue and white party. And I'm looking at this from afar. I don't quite understand what the blue and white party stands for. You've got Arab parties that are part of the blue and white party. The leaders of these Arab parties don't support the state of Israel. So my question to you is, you negotiate these things, you're the prime minister, and you look at this. How does your opposition plan to institute a peace plan that expands Israel's boundaries, increases its security, when it's relying on Arab parties that don't believe in Israel's existence?
The Blue and White Party is a leftist party in disguise. Remember, the majority of Israelis are basically right and center-right. So in order to get center-right voters, they pretend that they're a center-right party and that they will take up the terrific Trump plan that has been put forward by President Trump that's very good for Israel. It has Israel applying Israeli law, adding to Israel's sovereign territory. Important places like the Jordan Valley, it's a strategic buffer against invasion and smuggling of weapons from the east. It recognizes the legitimacy and the sovereignty of Israel over communities in our ancestral homeland in Judea and Samaria. This is completely anathema to blue and white, and their leaders said the opposite just a few months ago. But when the Trump plan came out, they said, oh, we're for the Trump plan. There's only one problem with that. A, they're not. B, they've said horrible things about President Trump just before the Trump plan was announced, like comparing him to Hitler. And three, they're dependent on the support in the Knesset, in our parliament, to form a government on the Joint Arab List that says to them, if you actually accept the Trump plan, you won't be prime minister. So they're not going to adopt the Trump plan, which would be a historic miss. We have here the deal of the century, the opportunity of a century. We're never going to have something like this. And the only one who will implement it is me. And I think the voters are getting that message. So we have an historic opportunity. I don't intend to miss it. I intend to do it. But the only way that I could do it is if I'm elected prime minister. So that's what I tell our voters. The other guy is dependent on a joint Arab list that refuses to recognize the state of Israel and will certainly not support the Trump plan in any way.
You mentioned these staffers to Mr. Gantz, and I'm familiar with this too. You have two staffers who refer to our president in one way or another as Hitler.
Right.
And Mr. Gantz keeps them on board as senior advisors. You also have Obama advisors.
I've asked him to fire them, and he wouldn't.
And he wouldn't.
They're the guys who give him the lines. You know, look, I'm appearing here. There's no teleprompter. There are no notes. There's nothing. You know where the teleprompter is? Inside my brain. My experience, my convictions, my beliefs. That's my teleprompter. Okay, this guy is being fed by two people. One is an Israeli advisor called Ronen Tzur. He compared President Trump to Adolf Hitler. It's incredible. The greatest friend we've ever had in the White House, he's compared him to Adolf Hitler. The second advisor is an American advisor. It's Joel Benenson. You said you're familiar with him?
He worked for Obama.
Yeah, okay, well, it's legitimate. Okay, he worked for Obama. But he too did something which I think is illegitimate. He too compared President Trump to Adolf Hitler. So these are the two closest advisors of Benny Gantz who tell him what to say, when to say, and so on. And they're putting on an act as though they're for the Trump plan. These people who call President Trump Hitler are for President Trump's plan. Come on, give me a break. So it's one big con job. That's what it is.